I've never seen no on there anyway.
The camera's on.
The camera's running.
camera's
This is the CPA committee meeting of October 15th. Going through the agenda, is there any public comment? Anybody here from the public that?
Not tonight.
Not tonight, okay.
Why, you guys got nothing to say?
Approval of minutes from the 17th. Did any of you, I read them, I don't know if,
Yeah, I read them.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from September 17th.
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion, a second to approve the minutes for the 17th. Any further discussion?
I gotta abstain from that.
I have to abstain too. I wasn't here.
I'm gonna abstain as well. I haven't read them.
Maybe we'll put the minutes off to the next meeting, because I think we just went to no quorum here on the minutes.
And the only members who were present at that meeting were, well, Harry, Ed, and Ed were not here. The
Okay.
rest of everyone was.
Okay, so we'll put them over to the next meeting for approval, so that way,
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to really look at it. It's not, wasn't earth shattering, but
that's okay, that's okay.
On
Let's-
principle,
I'm
I
just looking
probably
who else
should.
was here. Yeah, Amy was here, I was here. Greg, you weren't. You were, but you never met him, so, okay.
Yeah.
We'll put it over to the next meeting. Report of city officials, accounts balances, projects, responses, anything, Jamie? Take your time.
So, nothing has changed in the accounts since the last meeting, so they're in the minutes from September.
September.
But just to say that, for the camera, 60,000 in open space, 60,000 set aside for historic preservation, 161,000 for affordable housing, 615,000 in the undesignated fund, which can be used for anything, and 266,000 in the reserve fund, for a total of 1.16 million.
remind me again, just as far as the utility, is there really any difference between the reserve fund and undesignated?
The reserve fund is based off of it's the budget estimate. So if we don't collect all of the tax revenue that we think we're gonna get, or we don't get the state match that we think we're gonna get, that reserve fund would be
Changed,
changed
right?
at the end of the year. Or when the accounts-
Undesignated is this.
Undesignated
Clearly,
is,
we already
undesignated
have
is
that
everybody's, is all of the previous fiscal years, sort of free cash.
Yeah.
And, that money actually exists, so.
Wonderful, thank you.
How come recreation isn't on that list?
What's on?
It's under open space.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
What
open
was the
space.
question?
Alright.
He asked why recreation wasn't on the list.
Right.
Open space
You
recreation.
know, and that's something that if the committee wanted to create a recreation set-aside account separate from the open space account, they could. But recreation is allowed to draw from the open space set-aside. So,
I mean, considering how much money we spent in the last couple of years, if you see the nice little total up here, it's gotta be pretty significant.
Boy,
But you're only required to actually set aside for certain things. I mean, we can use the undesignated for recreation.
right.
Because
Or
we just
anything else,
spent 600 grand, 700,000 on recreation.
yeah, that's because of the football.
Washing
Well,
Oregon.
we had baseball field,
Baseball,
we
football,
had
and
soccer
soccer
field.
Probably $1 million.
Yeah, spent a lot of money.
I mean, there's no problem. I mean, again, going forward, you can have the new set aside, but then you'd have to
Right.
fund it every year, like, maybe one more, I mean, to me, I mean, I think.
Just if we
Right.
want, you just take it out of the undesignated,
Right.
fewer accounts.
Seems easier to
the
me,
better,
and we break down the project so anyone can find what is spent on any particular project. But,
Right.
good
And so
question.
the totals for the year and for all previous years were in the recreation plan, the preservation plan, in that appendix, so I forget what the totals are currently, but it's,
So you guys got $1 million to spend next year, that's what it says.
yeah.
We'll watch the meeting again and see if they're
Yeah.
doing a good job.
In my rocking chair.
Yeah, rocking chair.
Have to buy a new
Expect
one.
you to show up and guide us along the right path there, man.
Maybe you can phone in, we'll set up a little conference call.
You get out of line, I'll have a press conference.
Under continuing business, we have a discussion of cost and changes to approved projects. I hope everyone read ahead of time, yeah, I see you have them here, Jamie did some nice work on the flow chart and also on those letters. I thought they were very good. I had one question, Jamie, on the, if I could just use the flow chart for a second, Greg. On the city council, it says, and I have Mr. Sparkle here, I think he can, says votes on supplementary budget requests
Yeah, I
need
noticed
two-thirds.
that too. It doesn't.
It doesn't need two-thirds.
It doesn't?
No, it's only like when we do stabilization, like if we take money, city council takes money out of stabilization, so that's just a majority vote. Where we'll need two-thirds if the mayor were to
Veto.
veto it, then we need two-thirds to override or veto.
Okay.
So the supplementals just need a regular, so that's the only change I saw
Okay.
that's needed.
And I'm not even sure that the appropriation from CPA goes to the mayor.
No,
Well,
the
that-
mayor has become the conduit to do it. It's not that they're not by
She's
law.
not- She's not required.
Required to do it.
sign the appropriation.
Right.
So if the appropriation by the ordinance, if it passes the city council, it's an appropriation. It does not need the mayor's approval for the appropriation.
That's especially to do with CPA, the way it was set up, I
Yeah,
believe.
that's the
Because
way
I know at least
believe.
when Mayor Tosnick was here,
Unless-
he was saying, I do this because it's the way the process is, it's nothing I'm obligated to do.
Yeah, what it does, it helps it flow through the accounting system and everything
And
else
back.
and keep track of the budget. It's a convenience, but he doesn't have to
do it,
approve.
right.
So you're saying that the mayor does not have to give final approval?
He can't veto it. The mayor can't veto an appropriation that goes through the city council from CPA. Double check the ordinance, but I don't believe that ordinance has changed and it was originally.
CPA is one funding that's different than all the others, so that's, it's a good thing to check before we make a final thing on the flow chart. I mean, it's just a minor thing, but, if-
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Look into that.
Look into the ordinance, they run through the mayor's office.
Yeah.
It's the same as, I got the letter from the mayor for my reappointment, okay, but the city council president should have been.
Was the one that
Should have been
appointed.
the one who sent that out.
Right.
So it's just the mayor's picking up loose ends on a lot of stuff,
Because this is the council appointments right here, and we're all
Yeah.
here tonight,
yeah, yeah,
like the three of us.
yeah.
These are the mayoral appointments over here.
Who's gonna be the new president of the city council?
I don't know, if McCoy maybe go for another term, I don't know, so have to see. Also, the letters, you made changes, Jamie, in those letters? I'm sorry, you're.
I just made the one requested change regarding
Right.
the word prior,
Right, so, which you
So-
put in, right, that's how that.
which I put in and just resubmitted for everyone to take
Okay.
a look at.
Again, I don't know if anyone wants to take action on those tonight, the letters, or or if people still want to take time to read them, I don't know, I know Ed wasn't at some of the,
Yeah, I printed out and looked at the one, the report part from,
I mean, the quarterly, which I thought was also nice, I hadn't seen one of those, those are gonna be done on a regular basis right now, Jamie, those?
We asked for them.
Right. You can only ask.
So what we've been doing is the outside agencies, we've been asking them to provide us with the quarterly updates and the final project update. Because the city departments, we tend to have more communication with and see them more regularly.
Right.
We've not been asking for those quarterly reports, but we have still been asking for and receiving the final reports, just to document what was done and how money was spent, and so there's some sort of closeout to that, and it's not just, there was an appropriation and 5 years from now, someone's looking, what happened,
Sort of like maybe the clock with the town. we were
Right,
asking.
exactly, like if there had been like if there had been like a closeout and we would have been able to move on.
Okay, any other questions on the flow charts or the letters for tonight? We'll put it over to the next meeting again, so I think this is something probably, and just as, again, I'm not gonna be here next year, but I think it's something that we should really decide probably by the end of the year, either the next meeting or the December meeting to approve them so that going forward into the next, at least the next, it's not the next fiscal year, but the next calendar year, that everything's probably done differently, because you'll be into another funding cycle, which starts, I think, in December.
Yeah, and Jamie, you're saying the one change here was just an additional bullet point, the please note. bullet
No, it
point,
was
is
just
that right?
even just one word.
It was one word.
The
Oh,
prior,
one word. What was it?
it was a prior to,
It's on the second one, right? Congratulations? Or is it?
it's on the you've been awarded, it's I think it's the final bullet on that page saying, any changes to the project require prior approval.
Let's see,
Require prior.
we require.
Isn't that nice? Once we see what somebody's doing.
Here it is right on this one.
Yes, in other words, any significant
Nobody
changes
skipped
prior-
off with the
prior
money
approval
yet, so-
by the CPA. In other words, they're
Not
not
in
supposed to
history.
make a
No
major
one in
change
history's
without coming back. to
Decided
the
to try to double it.
Yeah.
and-
That was
Atlantic City.
as opposed to just approval. In other words, because they'll do it and then come back and say, hey, will you approve this change?
We're just putting that in the award letter, not the next step letter, is that right?
Right, I mean, the board letters sort of, we've been using both of them. Sometimes they're copied into an email text and emailed out, or they're not always this formal letterhead, but, it didn't sort of, we can add it to whatever letter you want, but at the time, the reasoning was between the CPA committee and city council, if there's any changes to the project, it's already going through, it's still in city council's, like it's still going through the hearing process. So there would, if it's not a major change, or if it's something that the finance subcommittee says, oh yeah, you know, we think that makes sense, it sort of is getting that approval as it's going through the process, whereas after it's been awarded and city council votes, then we're saying you need it, you need that prior approval. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
Sure. I think it's going back to the football one. I think it would have just been nice to have them come back before they decided to change, even though it was going to the school committee, to at least come back to CPA and say, this is our intent, because it doesn't look like we're gonna be able to do this is how we're gonna change the project.
Or have somebody from the school.
Or have somebody from the school
So this is why we did
school
it.
department
This-
come back.
this-
This
We
is
looked at it and this is why we did
why
it.
we're doing it. It's still basically the same project, but we did make these changes.
So,
Is
that something that you would wanna see included in the other letter, the preliminary award letter, or?
Greg, you're the one that made in other words, do you want prior put into this one too, or?
Oh, I just noticed.
One looks like it goes out first, it's
I-
different, it's almost the same language, but, right, but it,
It looks like it's identical language except for that word prior, so I was just, I'm an accountant, so I
Right,
like
so
things to
you-
match.
Um,
But it doesn't, it doesn't have to, I get what you're saying, Jamie, so.
okay, I didn't realize that there was language in the preliminary letter that said a prior.
There's the
changes.
award letter and there's the next steps letter, and there's, please note that any significant change to the project requires, in one it says prior approval by the CPA committee and or city council and mayor. And the other one says, will require approval by the CPA committee and or city council.
Okay,
I mean, I have no problem putting prior in both of them, I think it makes it,
okay, then that was an oversight and I should have,
Yeah,
it's correct.
I
didn't
think we
realize-
only talked about it when we were dealing with one letter, and it is, identical.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that the language was
I
repeated.
mean, I don't know if we need a formal vote on that, if there's an objection, I mean, I think it just seems like a clerical,
Right.
clerical error to put that
Yeah.
in, so.
I think you can change them anytime you want.
You're easy tonight, Ed.
Go ahead. Short timers, short
What's
timers.
going on, Ed? Usually you'd have a parliament,
Look at the audience.
most times you'd be pulling out Robert's Rules of Order on us or something, saying. New business, Jamie, nothing has come in, or do we know if we have anything coming I mean, I guess obviously we wouldn't talk about the specifics of it, but do we know any?
No one's
Nothing surfacing on the
filed
horizon?
anything, no one's.
I know you said there may be
Yeah.
some stuff coming,
Yeah, but I mean, other than the housing partnership, which that's probably not gonna be till sometime in early 2016.
Okay.
There's been no,
I didn't wanna come back for that one.
the housing, I fielded a call from the housing authority regarding some questions about funding and allowable uses and things like that. So they may submit something down the road, but probably not till the next grant cycle anyway.
So we're saying we have a funding meeting next month, but nothing to,
nothing.
nothing to fund, but we're meeting anyhow, because
Well,
we have things to go over next.
I think we really only need one more meeting, either November, December, right? And then just maybe to approve this stuff going forward into the fairly meeting.
Well, I'm kind
Or
of,
we can approve this as it goes forward when you have your next thing. I mean, I don't, I mean, I guess I'll open that up to the board for your opinion of whether we need a meeting.
I don't see any need to meet next month, there's nothing on
There's
the
nothing new
agenda.
that's really,
Right.
other than these things, and,
No, there's nothing on there.
and, if we get something new in
And if
December,
there really isn't anything in December,
right? And then, I mean, all this stuff is just a matter of having it approved at a meeting. If this is what everyone decides, maybe it's better that the new board, because it's
Yeah.
obviously gonna have a change in
Yeah,
January.
I wouldn't think that we need to meet in November.
Right.
Um,
Anybody wanna meet in November? Is it, I don't hear any. Harry, do you wanna meet?
twist your arm.
No, it doesn't matter to
I
me.
guess I'm just, before we go into,
Yeah, go ahead.
Nick,
Jim. Yep, I'm not gonna,
regarding the one item about the cost estimates and things like that,
Oh,
was,
okay.
and also looking at conditions, was there anything that we actually wanted to do or to change? There were some questions in the minutes about, looking into stuff, but no, it was my understanding that no decisions have been made, so nothing's
Right.
been sort of finalized, so I didn't know I guess I'm a little confused
I
as
remember
to-
leaving that conversation open
kind of
Yeah.
open
to
for-
continue this meeting,
Right.
and I can't remember fully exactly where we left off with it, but
I bolded
is that
the,
where you're going, Jamie?
in the minutes, there, like, I think there's lines that are bolded, that
Like
are
the proposed language for CPA.
proposals or things that I felt were a little not resolved. So I didn't know, and we can push it down the road, that's fine, but I just wanna make sure that you're not asking me to do something that I'm
No,
not
no,
doing because I'm-
absolutely. Well, I mean, since we didn't approve the meeting minutes, I guess I would say, why don't we, he has emboldened them if people print them out of
Yeah.
of things, and why don't we, I think we should have one final meeting in December anyway,
Yeah.
and at that time, we'll see if anyone has any final thoughts on that, and if it's something we can deal with that night, or we wanna move it over to the next year, and that'll give everyone time to read it. I mean, I don't want people to hurry through and
I think that makes sense. So, I was just refreshing my memory as to what document specifically we were gonna add the language to, but it says here the addendum to the appropriation request and all
Right,
that.
in other words, what we were gonna, maybe we're gonna make the request and make an addendum on that request of other things that you
Yeah.
might want.
Yeah,
Things that might change that we would request that they'd give us some sort of stuff to kind of guide people above us, right?
You know,
No, just so that they don't come in with nothing,
right,
you know?
right,
And
Get
then
the
if
money
they-
and then change everything.
well, it's more when they apply. If they apply and they come in with no information, then you send them away, then they have to come back again, and if they don't have it right, then it just takes longer.
but I think some of this, Ed, what we were talking about is, in other words, when we actually get the when the city council actually gets the appropriation, rather than just saying that we appropriate $200,000
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the football field, like, I don't know, it was more than that, we'll just use that there's might be an addendum on there with some specifics, in
Yeah,
other words, that
yeah.
would kind of limit the funding.
Sure.
Again, this is just the stuff, I don't think we ever came to
Yeah,
a
so the
conclusion.
school department couldn't stick it in their revolving account and spend it some other way.
well, if there's massive cost overruns,
Yeah.
30%
Change of scope.
higher or something like that.
I don't think we
that's
ever
what
came
talking
to
about.
a real
No.
good way to grasp it, but I think we were.
Well, there's nothing that has teeth, I think is what we were saying,
Right.
but what we can do is telegraph a message
Yeah.
that if this actually ends up going above a certain threshold, we would like to be re-included in the process in some way. And that's just a request that we can make of city council or the mayor or, whoever. And I think we're trying to learn a little bit from what happened with the football field situation, so that's my
So
understanding.
ponder that one and be till the December
Yeah,
meeting, Ed.
It sounds like you pretty well pondered it.
It's been pondered to death,
So we still don't want a meeting in November, I think.
I don't know.
We'll do, and hopefully we'll have one in December, but really go over, if you guys could take the time to go over the minutes, and there, as I said, they are highlighted, Jamie did highlight them, and if we could come up with some final maybe solutions, or at least some good guidance at the December meeting going forward, what, Jamie puts a lot of work into this, and I think we should either go forward with something, or if we're not gonna go forward with it,
Make the decision.
make a decision one way or the other.
It's real close, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
real
Yeah,
close.
something simple.
Anything else, Jamie?
That's it, just, the third Thursday in December is December 17th.
Okay, is that a That's not close to
That's
anything.
Thursday.
It's the week
The week
before,
before-
it's the week
before
before
Christmas.
the holidays.
Anyone have a problem knowing on the December 17th now at this point? I mean, I don't know, it's a little far away.
We get our bonus checks, right?
Yes, that's the next thing.
And you're all gonna bring my Christmas presents.
Oh, that's right, we gotta chip in, right? What's it
I
in?
thought we were all gonna get one of those gold nuggets.
I thought you were gonna wear your Santa outfit and bring us presents.
Oh, hey, well, maybe, you never
Whoa,
know,
whoa, whoa.
you never know, Henny, you never know.
So tentatively, we'll have the next meeting then December 17th, and hopefully we'll try to wrap up as much as this we can going into the new year.
Yeah. I'd like to just recognize Jamie, thank you for your work in putting the flow charts and so forth together, that was a request we made.
And I think
Very
that
helpful.
the other thing, certainly for some of the members, I think, again, you're gonna need a new chair come in January too, so, that might be something that you might wanna think of, Harry and or Jay or somebody.
And when Donald Trump gets
Or
pushed out of
Andy.
the Republican thing, we can probably get him to come up, so.
Other than that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion, a second adjourn. Any further discussion? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.